Yo, what is going on, guys? Here, my name is XWeatherman, and welcome to 50 tips and tricks to improve your house in Minecraft. Now, as you can see behind me, there's a lot of really cool houses, and we're going to tell you what makes these houses really cool and how they're effectively using certain tips and tricks to make them look like a good house. Hopefully you guys will get something from this. If you guys want to go ahead and get featured in the next video, comment down below one way to defend your house in Minecraft a little bit better. If you do have a good enough comment, I'll put it in the comment section down below. Thanks again, guys, once again for watching. Please leave a like, and hopefully you enjoy, and I'll see you after the video. When it comes to starting out and building an initial section within your house, usually going narrow is the better option. If you make a big wide house or a big wide starting area, everything else is going to have to be wide to kind of compensate. So what you could do is make your center area, instead of doing something like this, going ahead and making this first section really large and really wide, making it big, really large and really wide, because this house is going to be huge if we have that. If you're going for something a little smaller, go ahead and make it really long if you have to. Not really long, but try to keep it more of a square or a moderate rectangle as you can. The narrow base, the narrow things actually look better because you can just keep adding narrower sides to it. Go ahead and make your base, or your base area, your base starting area, which you're going to work off with, a little more narrow than normal. So we're going to go ahead and finish this part off right here. You don't want to make it too tall either, so just make it a decent size depending on how large you want your house to be. That's how tall you're going to make it. Just keep in mind that usually your center section won't be the biggest section. There's actually not going to be one definable big section. You're going to have many multiple just smaller sections. Look at something like that, and then if you were to picture that, that'd be a lot larger. There are 3 different types of good lighting, viable lighting to use within a house. You can use either a torch, which is the most standard and most efficient thing to use. You can use some glowstone, which you find in the nether, and it actually looks like an actual block. You can integrate it into your the roof of your house, or you can use something called a redstone lamp, and this requires a lever or redstone if you want to. If you don't want to put your lever right next to the actual lamp itself, it will actually turn on and off just like a light. My personal preference would be a redstone lamp, but if you don't have enough resources, these are the other 2 you can use. Creating a chimney or forming a chimney on a roof adds to make it look like an actual roof. Most houses actually do have chimneys, so adding this actually adds a little bit more detail and more realism to the actual roof itself. This guy actually used some webs to kind of represent the fog, but if you look at most every good looking base, they actually tend to have some form or fashion of a chimney. As you can see right there, there's a chimney on that one. So go ahead and add a chimney and it will just look a little bit better. Walking throughout a flat house is actually kind of boring, so if you can actually make stairs just to kind of heighten the depths a little bit, it can actually add a little more variety to the actual house itself. If we can go ahead and do that, all we're going to do is just go ahead and make this floor a little bit deeper than the other floor. What that will do is that will just kind of add a little bit more to it. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're actually going to have just add some stairs to kind of accommodate it. So there you have it right there. We have it all matched up, and we have just a little bit of depth right here. We're going to add some different, like kind of a different texture right here for our stairs. Just looks a little bit better sometimes adding some stairs. There you have it. And all you have to do is have a little bit more depth. Being able to go up and something as simple as going up and down within a house makes it look just a little bit better. By adding a layer of a different texture within your walls or even your roofing, it adds just a little bit more detail. As you can see right here, if this would have been this same little texture right here, instead of adding cobblestone on the end, it would have looked a little bit more bland, but instead they added a different kind of texture within cobblestone, and it made the whole roof look just a little bit more defined. Instead of going and actually just randomly placing glass panes all over the place and using them to represent windows, what you could do is you could make a more detailed window, which is this right here. So go ahead and make 2 pillars, or however lengthy you want, you can choose it. Go ahead halfway in between wherever your glass pane is going to be, go ahead and place down a block, then place down some stairs right here. It's place down stairs on the top. Delete that block and go ahead and then place your glass stained pane. Now I use different kind of textures. That's just because I wanted to show you guys how to actually do it, the before and the after. So that's a good little way to actually kind of detail out what your windows actually look like. The bigger the house, the more layers you want. Actually, as you can see right here, this is a very high ceiling, very big looking house. If you're planning on making a really big house, plan on making a lot of layers and a lot of sections. You walk in right here, you have your big space like we actually talked about once. You're met by a chandelier. You have a level right here, and then you have a level right here. So I'd say if you're going over 10 blocks, make it 2 layers. If you're going over 15, for every 5 blocks up you go, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go ahead and add a layer, 5 or 6, however you feel you should do. Most all good looking houses have somewhat of a platform. As you can see, there's a platform surrounding this whole house. There's a platform surrounding this whole house. There's somewhat of a platform surrounding all of this house. So if you've not yet made one, this is for if you guys are planning on making a house. Go ahead and start off by adding somewhat of a platform that leads up. If not, go ahead and just elevate the structures around your house. This makes it look like a more defined, like this is the territory of my home. Stairs are some of the most useful blocks in the game. You can use them for making chairs, tables, actual staircases, and you can even make them for detailing for pillars and roofing themselves. As you can see right here, we have a lot of uses for them. We even had them for actual building making themselves. So always keep in mind that using stairs for things such as chairs and tables will prove more viable most of the time than actually using just regular blocks. The proper way to use glass. Now the one thing you do have to keep in mind are there are 2 types of glass, regular standard glass, then there's your tinted glass. You're going to want to use both of them on your house most of the time. Sometimes using one more than another can lead to a funky looking house and overall just doesn't look as good. So what I recommend doing is getting some glass and some glass panes. Go ahead and get yourself a door too, because we're going to be using that as an example. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and place this door down right here. Not like that, like that. What you're going to want to do around a door is use glass. So go ahead and use glass around a door right here. Go ahead and do it like this as well. I'll go ahead and get into that tip later, but use glass around a door and glass panes as other fillers. As you can see right here, this is going to be where your glass panes are going to be around things not such as corners or whatnot. Glass panes are going to be around other areas. So go ahead and put your glass panes not around areas such as doors or whatnot. If you are going to be using glass as a whole, go ahead and stagger it. Add some depth to it. So go ahead and put it back one, just like this. As you can see, looking like that, you got some depth on the sides. While without it, it looks kind of bland. It looks like it's all as one. So if you put it on one area, it looks kind of bland. But if you go ahead and go around here, you have some depth to it. And then if you look at glass panes, they actually look a little bit better as well. So appropriate use of glass is crucial. Don't go ahead and use too much glass. Don't fill up the whole area. Use just enough to make it look like there's natural lighting within the interior. Alright guys, the next tip we have for you is to use a different colored stair as a roof. So go ahead and if you have a different roof or you're trying to make a roof, go ahead and first place the block down right here. Don't place it starting off at the top right there. Start it like an overhang. If you look at all houses in the world, most of them have, or a majority of the houses have an overhang. So go ahead and do that. Have it a different color and try to use stairs. We're going to go ahead. Stairs look a little bit more professional. What you can do right here is you can do that and then you can actually connect them together. So overall, stairs actually make a very good roof. You go ahead and keep going with it. You can go all the way around. It looks pretty well. The next tip we have for you guys is to divide up your corners. If you divide up your corners, they kind of look a little bit better. The more corners you can have, the more detailed and complex. We're trying to make our base look a little bit more complex. So as you can see, there's one corner right here. If you just go straight down the middle, it makes it have 2 corners right there, and that makes it have a little bit more detail. Adding more detail to a house will overall give it an effect of like it looks like it has more going on. Sometimes you can't do that, like in this situation, sometimes it's just not right to do it, but you can always just go over it. As you can see right here, all we have to do is that right there, and it looks like it's just an overpass right there. So adding corners to a base or more corners makes it look a little bit better. Sometimes adding pillars makes the base look a little bit more defined. As you can see, this base right here, there's pillars within their own depth of the actual structure of the house. What I'm talking about right here is basically you're going to want to build up with your pillars. If you go up with your pillars, we're just going to make it a brief example. Adding some pillars, this can be used with quartz or whatnot, whatever you're trying to go for. And then you have a separate layer, which is going to be the entity of your house, as a layer of depth, and as you can see, there's a lot more detail within the house. Sometimes creating more of an offset in the roof kind of helps it out a little bit. As you can see right here, these stairs right now have this kind of long slope, but if you use some slabs, the slope actually decreases and becomes a little more broader. Right here, over here, it has a little bit more defined significance. If the builder would have just used the same slope all the way down, it would not have as much detail and it'd look kind of weird compared to what it does now. Even right here, the builder goes ahead and uses this different kind of texture with what he used for his stairs. He didn't just go all the way down, have an overpass. He had things in the middle of it. Right here, as you can see right there, and all the way around to right here. So using different kinds of textures, different kinds of actual materials to make a roof can actually add more detail and therefore making it look a little bit better. Choosing the right types of blocks is very crucial in figuring out what kind of style of home you're going to use. As you can see right here, we use sandstone and some regular stone to make a contemporary style house. This is what you see usually in most modern neighborhoods. Not to this extent of the large scale it is, but this kind of texture. If you're looking for more of a rustic kind of look, something like in the 19th century, you can go ahead and use regular wood. But if you're trying to go a little bit more futuristic, a little bit further into the modern century, go ahead and use quartz and dark oak woods. That goes ahead and that makes different things. We're going to go all the way down here actually and show you even more, going a little further with the detail itself. As you can see right here, this is actually using kind of like a stone brick, or I think it's a chiseled brick right here. Adding a lot of glass makes the house a little bit more modern and contemporary feeling, and adding a little more wood and some more depth with more fencing and stuff, that's going to make it look a little bit more 19th century. Adding a significant entrance can make a house look a whole lot better. As you can see right here, this is just a plain old house with a door. I just made kind of like a little area right there, and it just has a door in it. But with this house right here, there's a whole area carved out to just the entrance. Right here you have your windows, and you can actually go in, you have some space before you get to the door. Just jumping right into a door sometimes doesn't make it look as good. There's some detail and depth in that one that there isn't in that one. Whatever kind of leaves you have around their house, they actually tend to look pretty good. So if you can go ahead and add some leaves, some natural scenery along the path of your house, it actually makes it look, depending on what kind of house you have. If you're working with a modern house, it usually doesn't look so good. But if you're working with a contemporary style house, adding these makes it actually look like you have bushes around your house. Most houses have bushes, so adding something like a pile of leaves around your house makes it look like it actually is on a plot of land. Even sometimes adding natural landscapes such as water or little ponds around your actual house itself actually bode well. Sometimes if you can pull it off right, I'd say more of a modern house uses the watered look. There's even people who use some things such as if you look at like a fountain or something like that, those work well within modern houses. I wouldn't recommend them for these regular houses. As you can see right here, that's actually a modern house, but something like that, a contemporary style home over here, I don't think they recommend well right there. But if you want to add little piles, now don't go ahead, as you can see this house right here is really big, don't add a big body of water right around it. Just do something simple right around, just like this right here. Adding legs and fencing to a balcony actually makes it look like a balcony. There's so many times where I actually see people just make a platform as their balcony. That looks very simplistic and does not look like a balcony. So go ahead and add legs to your balcony to make it look actually like a balcony. Now, even though I talked about how adding borders along glass panes and glass itself can bode well, always keep in mind that the look for a modern house, if you're trying to make something like a modern house, Try to keep it to a contemporary style, not a contemporary style. Try to keep it to like an edgeless, like an infinity pool, if you guys know what I mean. Like it's like infinity windows. Try to keep it to where pretty much it matches the texture. Use a lot of glass panes. If you look over here and over there, not much. That's pretty much edgeless, borderless. You don't use much detailing around the actual glass itself. Creating multiple entrances within a house actually makes it look a lot more like a house. If you had a square brick with 2 entrances, a front and a back, it does not look like a house. What looks like a house is something like this. As you can see, you have an entrance right here. You have an entrance off to the side. You even have a balcony with an entrance to the back. So adding things like that, I think there's actually one more entrance right here as well. So we actually have 4 entrances. The more entrances you make, the more house-like it actually looks. Adding natural environments into your house actually make it look a little bit more like a house. If you see most houses, they actually have trees in their front lawn, stuff looking like that. As you can see by this house right here, there are multiple trees on the little kind of platform that's on the actual house. So if you have room to add trees, go ahead and try to add some around them. Maybe trees, flowers, whatever kind of natural resources you can find, go ahead and try to put it within your actual house. Bookshelves are a very good block to use for interior designing. A lot of very good bases use bookshelves within their office rooms, their bedrooms, and much more. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. As you can see over there, there was a lot. There's not many in this room because there's not many rooms at all. But if we go ahead and go over here to this actual base, I'm going to go all the way back to the first one we have on this map right here. If we go all the way back over here, actually, they use pretty much books all throughout their actual house. You have books right here, books right here. You go all the way down here, you have some books. You have books over there. Just bookshelves in general are very good, especially for something like if you're using a wooden interior. If you're using a wooden interior, books work very well because they kind of blend in. Using them as shelves and such not, they're really good looking. Adding things like high walls and big broad open areas when you first initially enter a house makes the house look very vast within the inside. Going ahead and making a lot of small compartments, making a lot of really small looking rooms within one looking house does not make the house look very big. You're trying to make the house look big, so adding big vast spaces, or however big you can, will actually make the house pretty big. Now this right here, this is almost too big right now, but adding things like that, high walls and big vast open spaces at the entrance of the house, not everywhere within the house, but at the entrance within the house. When someone first walks in, can actually give the house more of a larger feel to it. Adding stairs to the entrance of a house give it kind of a elegant feel. If you're having to walk up to a house, you feel like, oh man, I'm entering a house, not I'm just opening the door to get into a house. So adding elegant styles of stairs will actually make the house look a little bit more elegant. Having a paved kind of road or some kind of path that leads up to your actual house, that makes the house just look really good. As you can see right here, if you took this whole part of the equation out, this house would look tremendously not as good, and not as good as at all, guys. So try to go ahead. This is just a really simple adjustment. If you're on some sort of flat plane, go ahead and add something, some sort of road or whatnot. You can even make a dirt road. And that actually just leads up to your house itself. Try having a room that sticks out within a wall or within a roof. As you can see right here, this little compartment or this room right here sticks out. You'll see in a lot of houses they have this kind of feature. There's even some houses where you look in the front of them, they have 3 sticking out rooms. A good way to make furniture in Minecraft is just simply by having your stairs along with some item frames attached to the side of them. That makes it look like an actual chair. Over here we have carpet on some blocks that looks like a shelf, and you can even go over here. This looks like a stove, doesn't it? You just add your regular whatever you want, your furnaces, and use some panes to go ahead, some panes and some slabs to go ahead and make something look like it. Adding natural landscapes within the interior of a house is also just as good as adding it to the outside of a house. As you can see right here, we have flower pots with like trees and flowers. Right here we have some leaves guarded by, I forgot what those are called actually. And people even make things such as farms within their bases themselves. I think that's a little overdone, but try to add here and there, maybe on your shelves, maybe on your just on the corner of your base. Just try to add things that are natural and give it more of a livid vibe. Changing to different textures of the floor within the base itself. As you can see, there's carpet right here, there's carpet right here. In the kitchen, there's a whole different texture design. You go upstairs, there's different texture designs everywhere. As you can see, there's a different kind of block using the stairs. That just adds a little more detail, and it kind of hints to the actual person within the house to where they actually are. The more quartz you use, the more modern the house is going to look. Using things such as just pillars to add to a house is going to make it look a little bit more modern and contemporary. Look at all these houses, they use just a little bit of quartz. The more quartz you use, the more modern it looks. Adding pictures within a house can look good. Do not overdo them. As you can see right here, there's only like 1, if not 2, or even 0 within a room. That should be considered 1, but you do not over detail things. There's little pictures right here, there's pictures right here. It just gives a finished look to the house, like the house is actually done, the interior of your house. So go ahead and do that last. If you're just getting started with your house, do not even think about adding pictures just yet. Don't be afraid to just stick to one texture. Go ahead and mix and match some things. As you can see, 2 unlikely things such as sandstone, brick, quartz, and cobblestone all came together, and it actually looks like a pretty good looking house. If you go ahead and model something, go ahead and go on Google Images and find out a house that you might want to recreate and try to use different types of texture combinations, and it might actually look pretty good. Doors do make a house look nice and they're very functional, but be sure to use the right door. Do not use an iron door, in my opinion, on anything less than a contemporary house. If you're using it such as on a medieval house or below, if you even use it on this, I actually only recommend using iron doors on very futuristic looking houses. Another thing to keep in mind is this does not look nearly as good as this, guys. So go ahead and actually stagger it back. Add some depth within the actual entrance of your house. It actually allows you to add maybe like a carpet or something as a sign of entrance within the house. Already previously mentioned, I said you should create out a whole section to make your actual door. As you can see right there, there's not a whole section right there, but we have like a whole carved in section where we have our house. What you can also do is go ahead and have your overhang right here. If you even are doing it on a smaller scale, using things such as oak wood fences as pillars can actually add a little bit more detail. If you don't want to use that big fat design of just a regular block and you want to use actual pillars, they actually help improve. So if you have a little carved out section, it can help, or just something for your entrance that will actually help a little bit. If you want to do this all the way down on a whole scale, or if you just want to do just a little bit right here, this would work well for this house if I actually made a carved out section. This is actually what you don't want to do, guys. You basically walk up and there's the door. What we want to do is we want to have like a whole area dedicated to the entrance. We're even going to go so far as using this as an example right here from a village. This just shows you guys that you do not have to go ahead and do really simple things. As you can see right here, here's our borders like I've been talking about. This is divided. This isn't just one big block. There's a lot of little mini sections in between. And there's a lot more you can improve on this house, but even looking at something like this can help you with building your design. If you have some sort of section and you cannot carve into it like I just previously mentioned, sometimes just adding an overhang and creating an area outside of the actual entrance itself could bode well. Even something as simple as just learning to base your house off a design you see online, looking up realty magazines, things, just looking up houses in general can help you out. What I actually did was I actually went and found an image on Google Images and was able to try to recreate it through this house right here. I'm going to go ahead and put in the top right hand corner. That was what I was trying to depict, and it actually looks somewhat like it, not 100% like it, but overall I think I built a good house just looking and trying to base my build off another build, not just going in it freelancing. Utilize your fencing, guys. Adding fences to either a balcony or an overhang creates a lot of detail within the actual balcony itself. So this is what a plain one looks like. Let's go ahead and add one with fences on it. There you have it right there. Actually looks a little bit more, a lot more solid. We're going to go into the actual interior and show you how you can use them on the interior. As you can see right here, we have somewhat of an overhang. We actually go ahead and use fences wherever the overhang is and it meets where the stairs are. That just creates just a little bit, pretty much wherever there is where you can see below you. We're going to add fences. Just adds a little bit more detail. It's like a railing system. It adds this railing. I'm pretty sure if you have a house or somewhat of a house that has an overhang in some direction, it's going to have some sort of railing as an overhang. Whenever you're making or adding onto a new section, do not make the actual section too narrow or too low to the ground. As you can see, the roof right here is bouncing right up in my head. That's one of the most annoying things, is when I walk into a room where the roof isn't big enough or the sides are too small. As you can see right here, the roof is big enough, but it feels a little cramped on the sides. What we're going to do right here is we're just going to simply add to this roof. So I went ahead and I added an extra section. So all I have to do is just carve this out right here, and this pretty much creates a better, very more wide, good feeling. Right there, it's not cramped anymore. It feels very cozy and comfortable now. Adding a garden around your house actually just improves overall natural landscape within your house. Stair placement is key within a house. Usually when you want to go ahead and add a staircase, try to add it within the entrance of the house. So when you walk in, you're going to want to see the staircase somewhere within the house. It could be over here, it could be over here. This particular person chose to put the staircase over here. It just adds kind of like a depth effect going up through the house itself. Another good thing is on the side of your stairs, a lot of people tend to use anvils, and anvils are very good for just adding a little border, a border effect, and they just look a little bit different. They look like a cool little railing system. Walk into a house, the last thing you want to see for the flooring is grass, wood, or anything of that nature. Wood's actually not too bad. Using things such as grass, sand, cobblestone as your actual flooring, that doesn't look too good in my opinion. Use some sort of colored wood, some carpets, just whatever you want to use. Actually, one of my favorites would be using wool. Wool is a very good substance for actual flooring itself. I know it costs a little bit more, but overall it actually looks really, really good. Right here we have some different types of actually wood itself, but some sort of color for your floor. It's just going to give it a better little effect. Something plain such as oak wood planks usually isn't going to cut it. I know I've done that before in my previous videos, but now I've kind of realized that using different kinds of textures for your bottom is actually better. Too many rooms within a house provide more of a uncomfortable feel. As you can see right here, there's a ton of rooms within this huge house. You can get lost very easily. It just doesn't look too good, guys. I like a few big rooms followed by a few small rooms, so try to keep that in mind whenever you're building small, narrow corridors with very little space in between. You're just having a ton of houses, provides a lot of confusion and just makes the house overall look smaller. If you ever think about it, to make a house look bigger on the inside, you're going to want to make it a little more broad, a lot more spacious housing, spacious interiors. Don't divide it up into hundreds or multiple, a lot, or too many rooms at one time. I know this is a pretty obvious one, but it actually can be key, and you guys have to take this one pretty much to heart. Is symmetry is key. Whenever you build a house, it has to be symmetrical. As you can see on this side, you have this, and on this side you have the exact same structure. You have the exact same structure on both sides. It's going to have to look identical. Pretty much you're going to want to do is just cut the actual house in half and do the same exact thing on both halves. You look at this house right here, you cut it in half, it'll be the same. Same right here. Pretty much every house, it's almost symmetrical if you go ahead and cut it in half. Over here, this is like a similar, if you guys know any kind of math terms like similar, where they basically, if you cut this in half, it's like evenly proportional. But even you can cut this in half. If you cut this right here, you go these two spots, they're going to be symmetrical. So there's symmetry in every good house, and always keep that in mind. Almost all houses have at least one area of a living room where they kind of put in sort of a couch setup. So go ahead and usually 3 or 4 style of chairs, try to put those in there. All you can do, you can just use stairs and format them in this way, this fashion right here. You'll see them in almost every house. Let's go across let's go to this one right here. This is the one with a lot in it, but you'll see even this house, pretty much every house has at least one lobby where they have everything facing. As you can see, this one actually has two. I'm pretty sure there's going to be one area. There's a dining room table over here. There is the actual area right here. So they all have at least one of these areas where there's going to be like a couch, you know, overlooking what looks like a TV or whatever, a fireplace, a TV, whatever entertains you. Now this doesn't apply for all houses, but a good effect to a lot of houses, if you want to, go ahead and find about a middle section, you know, what I just talked about, cutting that base in half, whether it be the front or the back of a house, and go ahead and create an area where you basically make a fountain. And it's this easy, guys. All you have to do is just start by doing something like this. I'd recommend just doing either one or two. However many you want to do, you can make that as large as you want. We're gonna go ahead and make a really like simple one, not that big. We're just gonna go up. I'm gonna do mine 4 wide, and we're gonna see how far we can go with it. And all you do is basically just do this and place a bucket right over at least one of them. You can do all 3 or 4 if you guys would like. Adding signs to the side of blocks or slabs actually creates what looks like a chair. That's another way to make a chair. You can actually also go ahead and put them around grass blocks, whether it be grass blocks, put whatever you want. You can even put, if you want to do regular dirt blocks and add some flowers or whatnot, whether it could be a tree or oak woods, and adding some signs around them actually makes them look like a decoration. Full integration within a house usually should occur either on the top of the house or on one of the balconies. If you look at this one, this is actually on the top of the house. They actually have rooms separated just for a jacuzzi. If you, most likely it should have been right here, or if we would have done it, we would have done it like right here or right here. Balconies or roofs on balconies actually just look preferably better in my opinion. But that's just opinion, guys. Try to add a pool or a garage. They just tend to look a little bit better. One of the biggest tips that I have personally found out, and you guys will, this might not be a great tip initially, but once you guys start getting into it and going and building yourself, this will be a very good tip for you guys, and that is to start off with a plan. Know what you're going to build. Now, I said it in one of the previous tips to kind of base yours off of, maybe go on Google Images, and that's kind of a plan right there. But if you're wanting to make something unique and personal, go ahead. You might even want to draw it out, do something on MC Edit, do whatever you can to actually kind of visualize your actual project that you're going to be making, so you can go ahead and go at it. Most of the time, if you go ahead and just create a block and then start working off of that, it's going to look good, but it's not going to look good as one of these. These houses were all specifically planned out. If you guys want to do that by Google imaging something or whatnot, that can be good as well. Alright guys, I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you could please leave a like, that'd definitely be appreciated, because this video did take a long time to actually make and figure out 50 tips to tell you guys. That was a lot of work. This is probably the hardest 50 ways series I've done yet. And if you guys haven't known, I do 50 ways series. I know I said that. I do 50 ways series pretty much once a week. And it could be, now it's turning into like ways to improve. Maybe next week is going to be ways to defend your house in Minecraft. Things of that nature. That's how we're going to actually choose out how we're going to do. So I think it's 50 ways to defend your house in Minecraft is going to be next week. So go ahead and put in the comment section below 50 or at least one way to defend your house in Minecraft, a better way to defend your house in Minecraft. If you do have a good enough idea, I will feature it in the next video, and you'll get a little bit of a shout out with your comment on the screen down below. So hopefully you guys were able to learn from all these houses, some of the tips and suggestions. Do keep in mind that it wasn't all just tips, it was a lot of tricks and tips. And it was just suggestions, hopefully, to overall build your knowledge on how to actually build a base or build a house in Minecraft. That's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.